10 TV News at 6 begins right now.
Now at 6, breaking news in Brussels as the search is on for a terrorist suspect in the wake of deadly explosions. Coming up, the latest on the raids across Belgium tonight.
An historic trip comes to an end. Tonight, a closer look at the future that President Obama is telling the Cuban people to hope for.
Warm and breezy outside. I'm tracking when rain will impact your week, and we'll look ahead to the upcoming Easter weekend.
And a Columbus Catholic college promises changes in the wake of a student's arrest. But 10 investigates discovers problems that the Josephinum might still be ignoring.
But first, 10 TV News at 6 begins with the latest on the breaking news from Belgium. Anti-terror raids are underway in and around the city of Brussels tonight. Police discovered and then disabled a bomb full of nails inside that house. Belgium raised its terror threat level 2 to its highest level, and surrounding European countries are on alert as well. Good evening to you. I'm Scott Light.
And I'm Kristen Hartman. Jerry Revish is on assignment in Cuba, and we'll check in with him in just a moment. But first, 2 attacks during rush hour in the city of Brussels.
Here's what we know. The Belgian government reports at least 36 people are dead and more than 230 more injured.
ISIS has claimed responsibility for the attacks at both an airport and a subway station. Karen Chaifa has the latest developments and the U.S. response.
In Belgium, worst fears realized.
We were fearing terrorist attacks, and that has now happened.
Morning attacks on a subway station and the Brussels airport.
There was an explosion, yeah. And soon after that one, there was a second one.
ISIS has claimed responsibility. It started with 2 explosions in the departures hall of Zaventem Airport, outside of airport security checkpoints at around 8 a.m. Brussels time. About an hour later, an explosion at the Malbec subway station, close to a number of European Union offices. Both attacks at peak morning hours.
I can't explain. It looked like war. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's really hard.
Belgium's federal prosecutor says the 2 men in black seen here were responsible for a suicide attack at the airport. Officials are looking for the man in white as a suspect. The terror just 4 days after the arrest of Salah Abdeslam, the last suspect sought in November's Paris attacks. While noting it is still very early, Belgian security sources told CNN it's their working assumption that the network that carried out the Brussels attacks is the same that carried out the attacks in Paris. President Obama addressed the Belgium situation at the top of remarks in Havana.
We will do whatever is necessary to support our friend and ally Belgium in bringing to justice those who are responsible.
Meanwhile, here in the U.S., no specific threats, but heightened security at transportation hubs like New York's Penn Station and at airports in major cities like Washington, Chicago, and Los Angeles. In Washington, I'm Karen Chaifa.
Belgium's prime minister said the country will observe 3 days of national mourning to honor the victims of the attacks. President Obama has ordered all U.S. flags to be lowered to half-staff from now until March 26th.
For an Ohioan born and raised in Brussels, the terrorist attacks have left her stunned. 10 TV's Kevin Landers spoke with her about the attacks, her family, and how her native city moves beyond this tragedy. Bad idea.
Inside her Belgian chocolate store in Dayton, Françoise Walusis spends her day boxing chocolates and thinking about her native Belgium and the city of Brussels, which was torn apart by terrorists.
Finally, my parents called to make sure I knew that they were okay. They don't live in Brussels.
Her family lives in Namur, south of Brussels, but the country's capital is where she spent her summers. She says watching the news and reading emails from her Belgian family has taken a toll.
Relief, and then crying, and then just going through all the news reports and just seeing what was going on, and then back to, it's just emotional roller coaster.
She says her brother was supposed to fly in to the bombed-out Brussels airport today, but at the last minute decided to fly in 2 days earlier. Thanks to technology, she says, video calls help her connect immediately with loved ones dealing with the chaos.
It's just been, very emotional morning for me. This level of people being afraid and just being so upset, that's not the way Brussels is.
She says since November, when authorities arrested a Belgian in connection with the terrorist attack in Paris, the country has seen an increased police presence and concern about violence.
There's been a greater awareness.
Now she hopes Belgians, known for their resilience, will be able to move on quickly from this attack and welcome back tourists who play a big role in the country's economy.
I really think that they're not going to let the fear get the best of them.
In Dayton, Kevin Landers, 10 TV News.
In order to run a Belgian chocolate shop, all of her products must come directly from Belgium. She hopes the terrorist attacks won't impact shipping to her store. The good news, she says, is that she's already received her Easter shipment.
The Department of Homeland Security says there is no specific, credible intelligence of any plot to conduct similar attacks here in the United States. 10 TV's Maureen Kosad is live in downtown Columbus, where police say people are still worried. Maureen?
Yeah, certainly Columbus police say there is no question people here are concerned, but police say they have found zero connection between the city of Columbus and the attack in Brussels. Here is what we do know. Tonight, Columbus police say the Transportation Safety Administration has beefed up security at Port Columbus, but says at this time it's really business as usual, Scott. Neither Columbus police nor fire adding resources like extra explosive sniffing dogs to airport security. Now, CPD says it is working closely with the FBI, and police say they're encouraging people to report anything that causes you concern, be it suspicious packages, cars, even someone asking too many questions.
Asking questions about the security, trying doors they shouldn't be trying.
Now, Columbus police tell us that they have shared all of the intelligence they have with patrol officers. That is really the city's front line to following up on any reports of suspicious activity. They take all of those reports that they find credible and pass them along to the city's counterterrorism unit. CTU does further investigation, and then if it feels that it has uncovered a credible threat, that is passed on to the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force right here in Columbus. Reporting live in downtown Columbus, Maureen Kosad, 10 TV News.
We want to let you know this. The CBS Evening News is expanding its coverage of the terror attacks to a full hour, so from 6:30 to 7:30. You can also get the latest on the investigation right now from us, our website, 10tv.com. A 10 TV investigation is bringing change to Columbus's Catholic seminary. But is it enough to prevent sexual predators from getting into that prestigious program?
And Scott, that is the question 10 Investigates is asking tonight. Nathan Baca is here to explain. Hey, Nathan.
Well, later in this newscast, we're going to go beyond what was announced in today's news conference to examine what was not announced. But first, a quick recap of what Pontifical College Josephinum is pledging to do in response to former seminarian Joel Wright being arrested for trying to buy Mexican toddlers for sex. We discovered a lack of checks and oversight allowed Wright into the seminary nearly unchallenged. That's despite a history of problems that could have been caught by a comprehensive background check. Starting this fall, the Josephinum will require more comprehensive background checks and having the applicants meet with a psychologist.
There is no place in the Josephinum, and there never has been, for any person who would display even the slightest sign or indication of posing a threat to the innocent, to the young, to the vulnerable, or to children.
The Josephinum is proposing changes for incoming seminarians, but as we uncover, none of the proposals will affect seminarians already in the program. We highlight those issues later in this newscast. Kristen?
All right. Thank you, Nathan. Ohio lawmakers say it is time to make domestic violence victims a little safer, and that means strengthening some gun control laws. State representatives introduced the Safe at Home law after 10 Investigates outlined these problems back in February. The proposal would have Ohio law mirror federal laws, removing guns from a home where domestic violence protection orders are in effect. But it would also go one step further.
The fact of the matter is, when there is a gun in a home where domestic violence lives, death is 500 times more likely.
The proposal would also allow for a judge's discretion in cases of temporary protection orders, allowing a judge to order the surrender of firearms while a temporary restraining order is in effect.
We got plenty more news to get to, but first, let's get a check of our forecast. Here's Chris.
Yes, and we do have a Doppler 10 weather alert to pass along first because of the dry weather we've had for the past several days and windy conditions. We actually have what's called a red flag warning for southeast Ohio, and this goes until 8 o'clock tonight. If you're even thinking about burning, use extreme caution because that can quickly spread into a wildfire or a grass fire. Again, red flag warning for southeast Ohio, just to prove how low the humidity humidity is. Right now it's at 26% with the temperature at 61 degrees right now. Now here's a check of live Doppler 10 radar over the last 3 hours. Been a little activity up around the Cleveland area. We're dry now, but showers will move our way as we go through the week. I'll show you when the rain will move in, how much you can expect, and we'll look ahead to the Easter holiday forecast.
All right, Chris, thank you. Now at 6, President Obama is wrapping up his historic trip to Cuba.
And today he urged the people of Cuba to look forward to a hopeful future. We sent 10 TV's Jerry Revish to Havana to cover the president's visit.
He joins us live after speaking with a Central Ohio woman working in Cuba in a time of transition. Really interesting there, Jer.
Well, that's right. The president is on his way to Argentina as we speak, and he's wrapped up his trip here. It's going to be a while before we know the ultimate impact of his diplomatic efforts with Cuba. Let's face it, Raul Castro is only going to do so much until those trade sanctions are lifted. But leaving all that aside, there's no place you can go in the world and not find a Buckeye. We found a young woman from Columbus who's living here now, who has a unique perspective on this changing island. There's a lot to fall in love with in Cuba. The heat of the people, the music, the culture, the food. Hannah Berkeley Cohen of Columbus got smitten 6 years ago while studying Marxism and decided to stay. She works as a freelance reporter for the New York Times. She says the changes that are coming to Cuba are welcomed by its people.
Cubans are very accepting and they're welcoming of all of these changes because it means the potential for higher salaries, the opportunity to mingle with foreigners, which means more money in their pockets, and just a more globalized version of Cuba. Cuba has essentially been cut off to some extent for about half a century now.
This Cuban accountant we spoke with in an old Havana town square says we shouldn't be so surprised by the transformation being witnessed.
Change is coming since many years now, but the mostly is about when the bar got open or the new regulations, BIS or Department of Commerce open, new business is enforcement or empowerment in the next 5-6 years.
But Hannah Cohen says, as the Cuban government watches the flood of interest and investment, officials remain leery about its effect on the island.
I think there's a lot of hesitation and a lot of skepticism because the last time Americans were in Cuba, Cuba was the American playground. We really took advantage of Cuba. I think the government officials are wary that we want to do that again, and they're not going to let us do that again.
Now, Hannah expects to see more millennials come here to work and live, of course, with the government's permission. Coming up tonight at 11, some of the sights and sounds we just ran out of time and couldn't bring you while we've been here. Back to you.
All right. And Jerry, one quick question. Are you seeing any sign of investment in the Havana neighborhoods?
Just about every place you go, particularly downtown in Old Havana, there are at least 3 hotels that are being renovated right now. Starwood and Marriott want to do several more. The cruise lines want to dock ships here. 13 airlines from 20 cities want to be able to fly in here daily, nonstop. So there's a lot of activity going here and a lot yet to come. And I'm sure that some companies in Ohio and even Columbus are going to be interested in getting in on the action.
Jerry, thanks. We'll see you again at 11 o'clock tonight. And folks, don't forget, he is documenting his time there in Havana. You can read updates from his reporter's notebook on 10tv.com, along with pictures and other video of his experiences there. In a 2-month investigation, 10 Investigates exposed how an accused sexual predator got into Columbus's Catholic seminary.
The Josephinum promises reforms, but new at 6, 10 Investigates discovers there may still be problems the college is ignoring.
Closed captioning on 10 TV is sponsored by the Original Mattress Factory.
Hello there. Oh. How do you like the car you're sitting in right now?
It's so nice. I think it's beautiful. I like this.
You're sitting in a truck that's its own Wi-Fi hotspot.
Really?
I didn't know they did that.
Hey, guys. Hi. Who are we talking to you?
Get 5 $500 auto show cash on this Chevy Cruze. Or qualified lessees can get this 2016 Chevy Cruze Limited for around $179 per month.
This weekend at Kittle's, save store-wide. Plus, pay 0% interest or take an extra discount for cash. Plus, Friday and Saturday only get free local delivery. This weekend at Kittle's.
You appreciate being treated right. Time is the most valuable thing you have. Family is really important to you.
Right now at Byers Airport Volkswagen, lease a new 2016 Jetta S for $149 a month.
No matter how you see yourself, picture yourself in a Byers Volkswagen, conveniently located by the airport.
Anthony Thomas Chocolates is the Easter Bunny's favorite shop for sweet Easter treats. Hop on in now to get 20% off select Easter baskets. Only at Anthony Thomas. Our chocolates are so good, we eat all we can and only sell what's left.
This is what precision feels like. Magnetic Ride Control actively monitors road conditions 1,000 times per second to deliver a comfortable ride.
1,000 times, huh? Yep, per second. How about that?
This is the new, meticulously crafted 2016 Sierra Denali from GMC. This is the precision of professional grade. Now get nearly $6,800 total value on this specially equipped 2016 Sierra Crew Cab SLT. Plus get $1,500 trade assist to upgrade to the Sierra.
The good news, Rob Portman's helped create jobs. The bad news, they're a long way from Ohio. In Congress, Portman voted for NAFTA, creating thousands of jobs in Mexico. Working for President Bush, he pushed for CAFTA, creating jobs in Central America. And Portman supported special trade status for China, even more jobs in Asia. Rob Portman, a job creator everywhere but Ohio. Senate Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
New GMCs from $179 per month. Check out the savings at dantobin.com.
Jerry Revish, Kristen Hartman, weeknights on 10 TV News.
Leaders at the Josephinum Catholic Seminary in Columbus are pledging action after 10 TV exposed problems and how future priests are screened.
New at 6, 10 Investigates' Nathan Baca joins us once again to explain.
Well, we exposed that Joel Wright, how easy it was for Joel Wright to be accepted at the Josephinum despite his online attempts to buy time with children. Now, the seminary is proposing sweeping changes, but those changes only affect future seminarians, not existing students, as Joel Wright was.
Joining me at the press conference is
Father John Allen took the podium to address a letter the Josephinum sent to Catholic leadership calling for a national database to track seminary student applications. School officials will also take action by requiring a comprehensive background check and personal interviews for incoming students. For now, students already at the Josephinum won't be affected. 10 Investigates discovered how this leaves 3 problem areas. First, seminarians may continue to have online and social activity go unchecked. They also aren't required to meet with a psychologist during their 6 years of school. And third, the advisor-to-student ratios will remain high. Spiritual directors are supposed to meet with seminarians every 3 weeks for 1 hour to talk about the mental challenges they face. But between spiritual directors and priestly advisors, there are up to 35 seminarians per advisor. We reached out to former Benedictine monk and sexual abuse researcher Richard Sipe about that student ratio.
30-to-1 is inadequate. It's absolutely inadequate. First of all, you have to have a very astute confessor, a very dedicated confessor, and hopefully a celibately trained confessor. But 30-to-1 is too much. There's no question about that.
Now, SNAP, a support group for victims of priestly sexual abuse, commented, Wright was a seminarian, not a prospective seminarian, when he tried to buy kids to abuse. That strongly suggests that the Josephinum must look more closely right now at the seminarians they already have, not just pledge to do better screening in the future. Now, if you have tips for us here at 10 Investigates, email us at 10investigates@10tv.com.
All right, in the weather, it's starting to feel like spring again. Our high temperature at 61 degrees. This is the view right now down in Grove City. I've kind of panned our camera around to try to give you a little bit of a sunset shot. Here we are in downtown Columbus right now. Probably more clouds than sun here, but hey, at least we're in the 60s. And here we are down in Ross County, Chillicothe, where we do see a little bit of blue sky during the daytime today. The temperature right now is 61. The wind brisk out of the southwest, and everybody just over that 60-degree mark right now. We are headed down to a low tonight of 47. Not as cold as, let's say, last night and this morning. Winds will be out of the southwest. Hour by hour, 7 p.m. We take you to about 11. Still pretty cloudy. Tomorrow morning, mostly cloudy, although a little bit of sunshine sneaking through in spots. Temperatures tonight, 40s to around 50, which is very mild, really, for this time of year. Tomorrow's dry, but there will be some rain coming on Thursday. In fact, a pretty good bet we'll see showers. Here's 4 p.m. We take you on into 11, where it clears out briefly. And highs tomorrow, nice. We're in the middle to upper 60s, pushing 70, I think, right down along the Ohio River. So we'll break it down for you this way. Started off in the morning in the upper 40s, right around 47. Lunchtime, we're at 54, and there's your high at 4 o'clock. So what's coming? Showers in here on Thursday. There could even be a thunderstorm with rain chances right now at about 100%. So it looks like a sure bet we're going to get rained on. If you're doing a staycation this week, your kids are off for spring break, it may be the day to head inside. Maybe it's a cosi kind of day. We could see anywhere from 1/4 of an inch in Columbus to almost an inch of rain to our south. Now, as we look ahead, your Doppler 10 7-day forecast, the Easter holiday in view. Saturday 59, Easter Sunday we're up to 64. There will be some more showers coming in late Sunday into Monday, but right now it looks like we will be dry for all those Easter bonnets as people head to church on Sunday.
And that gets a round of applause.
Yes.
Thank you, Chris.
Springtime also means spring football. Here's Dom.
You know, and that's big time around here. After getting last week off for spring break, Buckeye football team resuming spring practice this morning. Urban Meyer putting his guys through the paces, trying to get the rust off. Coming off spring break with only 6 starters back, the coach needing to reload at a number of positions, and that means he's turning the heat up in practice.
We talked about there's some guys that haven't done a whole lot that are going to play, so we just put as much pressure on them now. It's not fair to put pressure on them in October. And so I hope there's more pressure on them in a first padded practice than there is next fall in front of 110,000.
Well, for the first time since 2011, the Ohio State women's basketball team advancing to the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament. The Lady Bucks heading to Sioux Falls, South Dakota on Friday, and a date with perennial power Tennessee. But given who the Bucks played this season, they fear no one.
One of the benefits of playing the schedule that we played and then playing in a conference like the Big Ten is I think we've seen obviously great competition. We've seen different styles of play. So yeah, I think we have experience. We have the necessary experience for this game.
Well, what we first reported to you yesterday is now official. A major soccer match coming to Ohio Stadium in July. And we're talking about 2 of the biggest soccer teams in the world, Real Madrid taking on Paris Saint-Germain in an exhibition match. The game will be played in Ohio Stadium on July 27th, a 7:30 start time. Pre-sale tickets will be available beginning next Tuesday. They go on sale to the general public April 5th.
More ever than not, soccer is becoming just giant in this country. And for me, being here and to potentially see 100,000 people, 108,000 people inside a stadium in Ohio for soccer, it's a blessing.
Yeah, it'll be rocking. National holidays, National Bavarian Crepes Day, National Water Day, and this has got to be one of my favorites, National Goof Off Day.
You gotta love that one.
National Goof Off Day. So you're supposed to do something goofy.
Okay. All right. We'll stay tuned for that. We'll be back with a final check of the forecast.
There's a lot to see at Nissan now. 5 exciting new models and bonus cash at Nissan now.
Get 500 Auto Show bonus cash on the 2016 Rogue. Shop ChooseNissan.com.
Closed captioning on 10 TV is sponsored by the Original Mattress Factory with 11 Central Ohio locations.
I was with Airborne Express and DHL for over 25 years. I lost my job, so that was very devastating to me. When Mr. Strickland raised taxes $1.5 billion, it was almost like, there was no justification for it. When he should have been in there fighting, we lost 400,000 jobs in the state of Ohio. His track record is not there. There's no reason to go back to Ted Strickland.
Freedom Partners Action Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I'm not a big city person. I grew up here. These are my streets. These are my skyscrapers. As a geologist, I chose to work in the energy industry for a reason. Fracking will help us secure America's energy future, and I want to make sure that we're protecting the land and water too. There has to be a balance. Fact is, they've been fracking safely for over 65 years. In the end, progress depends on all of us doing our part.
Learn more at energyfromshale.org.
Hi, checking out the RAV4?
Yep, looking for something fun.
Well, with available Sport Tune suspension, you can turn any trip into an awesome adventure.
Yeah! Errands!
Aren't they the best?
It's the final days of Toyota's One for Everyone sales event. Get 0.9% financing on the adventurous 2016 RAV4. Or lease one now for just $199 a month.
Have fun running those errands.
Toyota, let's go places.
What will you find here? Happiness feels like this. Your heart upon your speed. Life is just a dream. For life's most important journeys. Ooh, lucky you. Lucky, lucky me. Ohio. Find it here.
The average home can weigh 160 tons, and surrounding soil can put more than 1,000 pounds of pressure per foot on your basement walls. If your walls have cracks, all that pressure means they will get worse and steal even more from the value of your home. Call Ohio Basement Authority to fix the problem permanently. Our proven systems straighten bowing basement walls and make sinking foundations rock solid. Call Ohio Basement Authority today for a free foundation inspection and protect your home's value.
There's a lot to see at Nissan Now. 5 exciting new models and bonus cash at Nissan Now.
Get 500 Auto Show bonus cash on the 2016 Rogue. Shop ChooseNissan.com.
10 TV Skyview is sponsored by Tempstar Heating and Cooling Products and Custom Air.
Thanks for joining us. See you at 11.
Don't wait to make your morning great. Download the 10 TV app for breaking news, weather, and traffic alerts sent right to your phone. Then watch 10 TV News starting at 4:25 a.m.